I'm Muhammed Hamdan and Nightline begins now. The top stories. Age limit for delivery riders to be reduced from 21 to 18. And first batch of imported whole chicken stockpile arrives in Malaysia. Good morning. Nearly 68,000 homes under the Residency Wilayah Keluarga Malaysia project have received approval for construction. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the 67,944 units involve 104 projects, of which 97 are in Kuala Lumpur, 3 in Putrajaya and 4 in Labuan. The projects, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said, are part of the government's efforts to provide 500,000 affordable homes as part of the 12th Malaysia Plan. He also said the Federal Territories Ministry had also introduced a new program known as Council Homes. He said the homes were meant as transit rental homes for B40 families before they could afford their own homes.
Wilayah Persekutuan menyasarkan pembinaan sebanyak 5,000 unit council home dalam tempoh 5 tahun antara tahun ini sehingga tahun 2027. Sehingga April tahun ini, sebanyak 10 tapak telah dikenal pasti untuk membina council home di wilayah Persekutuan dan projek yang siap sepenuhnya adalah di Sungai Udang, Segambut, berjumlah 1,251 unit.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri added that the government welcomes the commitment of developers to help make the program a success and to help realise the government's aspirations of providing affordable homes, particularly to city dwellers. The Prime Minister said this at the key handing over ceremony of Sky World Development Group's Residency Sky Awani 3 in Setapa on Sunday. The project, which is under the Residency Wilayah Keluarga Malaysia program, offers 1,905 units of homes. The size of each unit is 800 square feet with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, priced at 300,000 ringgit. The government has decided to lower the age limit for motorcycle-based delivery riders from 21 to 18. Transport Minister Datuk Seri Wee Ka Siong said the move was to allow more youths to earn an income from the P-hailing services offered by various companies. In a statement, Datuk Seri Wee said the change is part of a larger bill proposed by the Transport Ministry to amend the Road Transport Act 1987, which includes 3 other significant amendments. He said the Cabinet had approved the Ministry's proposals to amend the Act to better serve the general public and keep all road users safe, and is set to be tabled in the coming Dewan Rakyat meeting in July. Under the proposed changes, tour bus drivers will be required to have vocational licenses like all other bus drivers. Datuk Seri Wee said a temporary vehicle ownership certificate would also be made part of the law for used car dealers to protect the rights of consumers. This certificate would give dealers temporary possession of the car after a sale by the owner. He said this measure had already been established in 2011 as an administrative rule, but would now be made law. In another proposed amendment to the law, Datuk Seri Wee said data from the high-speed weighing system used for heavy vehicles would also be recognised, replacing manual weighing. This will ensure higher compliance of the relevant rules by all owners, especially vehicles transporting goods, which he said will ultimately lead to safer roads. The National Farmers Organisation, or NAFAS, has begun importing whole chickens from poultry producers, with the first stockpile of 21 metric tons in one container having arrived in the country on Saturday. The Farmers Organisation board in a statement said the supply was imported from poultry producers that had obtained approval from the Veterinary Services Department. It stated that the next chicken supply will be brought into the country on Monday, namely 3 containers that will be placed in the Nafas freezer room in Sungai Bakap, Pulau Pinang. It added that the Farmers Organisation Board, through Nafas and the state farmers' organisations, has been given the main task of implementing the chicken buffer stock programme to stabilise the country's chicken supply needs. It said the programme would be implemented in stages in collaboration with the Federal Agricultural Marketing Authority, FAMA, and state farmers' organisations, especially in terms of cold room facilities usage. In addition, the distribution of chicken would be done through state farmers' organisations, area farmers' organisations, and farmer networks, while the Farmers Organisation Board would monitor the implementation of import scheduling by Nafas. It added that the state farmers' organisations in Selangor, Johor and Perak have been selected to assist Nafas in carrying out the programme, and those in other states would also be included based on current needs. In other news, the Agriculture and Food Industry Ministry has paid out a total of 200 million ringgit in subsidies to farmers in setting the ceiling price of standard chicken. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Ronald Kiandi, said once the programme ends on June 30th, the surplus subsidy would be channelled through other forms according to the needs of the target group.
Jadi kerajaan telah memutuskan untuk mengalihkan agihan subsidi ini bukan kepada industri dan kepada kumpulan B40 seperti yang dimaklumkan oleh Perdana Menteri. Jadi harga ayam akan diapung, tentu sekali ia akan meningkat lebih daripada RM8.90 yang telah ditentukan oleh kerajaan pada ketika ini.
He said this to reporters during a working visit at the Pharma Manong Agro-Food Marketing Centre in Kuala Kangsar, Perak. He added that the amount of subsidy that will be channelled towards the target group will be decided by the Finance Ministry. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Ronald said that collaboration between the Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry and the Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry could yield new technologies that would strengthen the country's food security. He said the application of technology in the production of food, such as the Internet of Things, IoT, and artificial intelligence, AI, are important for the viability of future food supply. The minister added there is a need to reduce food imports, including rice, fruits and vegetables, and that the country should instead maximize available capacity to export local produce. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah said the country should continue to strive to produce local graduates to fill high-value professions in the increasingly dynamic field of defence and security strategy. Therefore, His Majesty said the relevant parties, such as University Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia UPNM, must continue to explore the latest fields of knowledge to ensure that the country always has a line of thinkers and scholars who are able to formulate long-term plans to protect the country's strategic interests.
Kita turut menyeru pada semua rakan strategik universiti ini, khususnya Kementerian Pertahanan Malaysia, Angkatan Tentera Malaysia dan industri pertahanan untuk terus mengukuhkan sinergi yang telah terbentuk erat demi untuk menjulang Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia ke tahap yang lebih tinggi.
His Majesty said this in conjunction with the UPNM 11th Convocation Ceremony's first session on Saturday. His Majesty said that students in all public and private institutions of higher learning should be inculcated with a spirit of helping and loving one another across racial and religious boundaries. He added that such a spirit should be nurtured in an effort to form a caring and united society to create a distinguished nation. At the convocation, a total of 2,229 students successfully completed their studies for 2020 and 2021. UPNM also conferred the Honorary Doctorate of Philosophy to 3 national defence figures. The ceremony also witnessed a total of 83 bachelor's degree graduates receiving the 2020 and 2021 academic awards. The Health Ministry MOH will hold the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme for Children or PICKIDS again if there are special requests. Its Deputy Minister Dr. Nur Azmi Ghazali said the move was to enable those living in the rural areas to get free vaccinations after the programme ended on May 31st.
Saya bagi contoh ya, saya baru balik daripada Sabah di tempat-tempat yang jauh di pedalaman. Internet tak ada, perhubungan tak ada. Dia keluar dia tengok imunisasi tak ada dah. Jadi katalah umpamanya dia punya jawatankuasa kampung situ ataupun KK di situ kan mendapati ramai orang yang belum beri dan mereka tak tahu. Ni di pedalaman ni betul. Jadi boleh kumpulkan mereka dan boleh berbincang dengan JKN dan pengarah JKN ataupun pengarah JKN Jabatan Kesihatan Negeri akan membuat keputusan untuk memberikan vaksin pada ini. Ini yang dikatakan case-to-case basis.
Dr. Nur Azmi said this to reporters after officiating an archery competition at Bandar Lembah Beria Public Field on Saturday. He also said that those interested could register through the My Sejahtera application to get an appointment for their vaccination. He added that the public could also get their vaccination at all health clinics in the country during the National Immunisation Week to be held for 5 days from June 20th to 24th. Dr. Nur Azmi also urged parents to take this opportunity to get their children vaccinated to keep them safe from COVID-19. Meanwhile, there are currently 25,625 COVID-19 infections in the country, as cumulative active cases have been on the rise since June 12th. A total of 2,130 new COVID-19 infections were reported on Friday, compared to 1,049 recoveries. However, there was one death recorded in Sarawak. Of the active cases, 24,585 cases are being isolated at home, 993 cases receiving treatment at hospitals, 35 cases at intensive care units ICU, with 19 cases are ventilated, and 13 cases are at COVID-19 quarantine and treatment centres, PKRC. On Friday, a total of 490 COVID-19 cases were admitted to hospitals, which saw a jump from the 377 admissions recorded on Thursday. As of June 17th, 13.8% of COVID-19 beds are used, 8% of ICU beds are utilised, and 16.1% of PKRC beds are occupied nationwide. Still to come, Agnipath Protests, hundreds burn trains. Foreign news. Protesters in India's eastern state of Bihar damaged public property and ransacked offices in a railway station on Saturday to express outrage at a new military recruitment policy demanding the government reverse course. Thousands of young men attacked train coaches, burned tyres and clashed with officials at the station in one of India's poorer states. According to a senior police official in Bihar, Sanjay Singh, at least 12 protesters were arrested and more than 4 policemen were injured. Reports of sporadic unrest in several parts of India prompted Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government to hold meetings to review the policy of hiring soldiers for shorter tenures. In a bid to contain the public rage, the government said on Saturday it would reserve 10% of the vacancies in the paramilitary forces and Assam Rifles, a unit in the Indian Army, for those who had passed out of the army after the 4-year period mandated in the scheme. Israeli airstrikes hit Hamas sites in the Gaza Strip on Saturday in response to rocket fire from the Palestinian enclave run by the movement. Palestinian media said the strikes fell on agricultural land in Gaza, but the Israeli military said it targeted military sites belonging to Hamas. The Israeli military, in a statement, said the strikes came after Hamas launched a rocket towards the city of Ashkelon in the southern Israel. The exchange came after 3 Palestinians were killed and 12 others wounded on Friday during an Israeli army raid in Jenin. Although Saturday's cross-border fire did not appear to signal a wider escalation, violence has risen in Jerusalem, the occupied West Bank and Israel in recent months. In China, fires at a large chemical plant in the city of Shanghai have killed at least 1 person. They broke out around 4 a.m. local time on Saturday at one of the country's largest refining and petrochemical plants. Sinopec, the state-owned company that operates the plant in the suburb of Jinshan, said the driver of a transport vehicle had been killed and a company employee had been injured. Shanghai's fire department dispatched more than 500 personnel to the scene. The fires are now under control, but protective burning is being carried out. The cause of the fires, which affected an ethylene glycol facility, is still unclear. Flames could be seen engulfing parts of the sprawling complex and spewing thick columns of black smoke into the sky. sports, badminton, the 2022 Indonesia Open. National top single shuttler Lee Zijia's hope of advancing to final diminished after he suffered a semi-final defeat to Denmark's Victor Axelsen on Saturday. Lee showed some glimpses of hope to cause an upset as he took the first set 21-19. The world number one Axelsen, however, demonstrated his superiority, winning the second set 21-11. The decider saw both shuttlers sweating blood before Axelsen emerged victorious with a 23-21 win to seal his place in the final. Also suffering the same fate was national men's doubles of Aaron Chia and So Wu-yik. Playing against Liu Wucheng, Wu Xuanyi of China, the national duo suffered an 18-21, 13-21 defeat in just 38 minutes. Meanwhile, two-time winner Tai Zhu-ying reached the final of women's singles after beating Tokyo Olympic champion Chen Yufei in the semi-finals on Saturday. The second-seeded Chinese Taipei shuttler took an hour and 9 minutes to come back from one game down to defeat number 4 seed Chen in 3 games 10-21, 26-24, 21-12. Tai will face Wang Ziyi in the final, who won the other All-China semi-finals against teammate He Bingjiao. In mixed doubles, Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino booked a spot in the final as the third-seeded Japanese pair defeated 6th-seeded Korean pair Seo Seung-jae and Chai Yu-jung in 3 games in the semi-finals 21-18, 17-21 and 21-15. The Japanese pair will play against second-seeded Zheng Ziwei and Huang Yaqiong, who overcame teammates Wang Yiliu and Huang Dongping in the other semi-final match 21-6, 21-14. Cloud seeding operation held at Bukit Merah Dam. These and more from the local front when we return. Welcome back. The Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry, in collaboration with the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, and the Air Force, carried out a cloud seeding operation at the Bukit Merah Dam in Semanggol, Perak on Saturday. First Deputy Agriculture and Food Industries Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Hamzah said the operation focused on 2 integrated agricultural development areas covering more than 20,000 hectares.
Dia sebenarnya kita mengikut kesesuaian, bukan sahaja daripada availability of aircraft, tetapi kawasan dan juga bergantung kepada nasihat daripada pegawai MET yang bertugas, yang masa dan boleh berubah-ubah. Kita bergantung kepada keadaan atmosfera dan situasi semasa.
He was speaking during a media conference at the Air Force Base in Subang following the cloud seeding activity on Saturday. Datuk Seri Ahmad said the operation was aimed not only at increasing the water level at the dam, but also restoring the irrigation system for domestic, industrial and agriculture use. He added the water level at the Bukit Merah Dam reached the critical level on May 27th, and this had resulted in supply disruptions in the area. The operation will directly benefit 8,869 paddy farmers in the Kurian area in Perak and 1,267 from Pulau Pinang. The seeding was done using 800 kilograms of salt that were dissolved with 4,800 litres of water in 4 water tanks flown using the Charlie 130 Hercules aircraft. The operation was conducted by 11 members of the Air Force together with 3 Met Malaysia staff. It is scheduled to be carried out for 3 days until Monday, depending on the atmospheric conditions and the weather situation. And lastly, in Kuala Lumpur, an enforcement officer has been placed under 1-day remand on suspicion of soliciting bribes. The remand order was issued by Magistrate Syafiqah Norinda after the application was submitted by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) at the Dang Wangi Central Lockup Magistrates Court on Saturday morning. According to sources, the 32-year-old suspect was arrested in Sentul, Kuala Lumpur on Friday. The source said the suspect was believed to have solicited a bribe of about 1,000 ringgit from a shop owner. The money was given so that the suspect would return the victim's United Nations High Commission for Refugees UNHCR card. The card had been taken away during an inspection at his shop on May 17th on suspicion of being a drug addict. Meanwhile, Kuala Lumpur MACC Director Razaliah Abdul Rahman, when confirming the arrest, said the case was being investigated under Section 17A of the MACC Act. And that's all for Nightline this time around. A father is the one friend upon whom we can always rely. Daddies don't just love their children every now and then. It's a love without end. These are among quotes that are often used to describe the endless love of a father. I'm Muhammed Ahmad Hamdan, and on this Father's Day, the Nightline team would like to congratulate all fathers in the world for being the best mate a child could ever have. Thank you for tuning in and have a restful Sunday.